Well, welcome to Humble Wave Radio and to Hull and Back podcast. This is Tiger Talk. Only three of us tonight. Good evening to you, Paul.
Good evening.
Evening to you, Jan.
Good evening, Adey.
And yes, it's my fault that there is only three of us because this is a pre-record and I've been messing about and getting people to say I'm going to do this day, then I'm going to do that day, then I'm going to do the other day. So unfortunately, I've messed everybody out about, and that's why there's only three of us tonight. But it'll still be a really good episode. And as always, it's in association with The Car Must Go.
Looking to buy or sell your next car or van? At thecarmustgo.co.uk, we make it easy. We are proud to be your trusted local Hull business with 5-star Google reviews from happy customers across East Yorkshire. We buy and sell quality cars and vans, all with a full mechanical check, MOT and warranty included. So call in and see us today at Rugby Street in Hull, or visit us online at thecarmustgo.co.uk. We buy, we sell cars and vans.
So if you are looking to buy a car or sell a car or a van, then go to thecarmustgo.co.uk and they can certainly help you out. Anyway, tonight's episode, we thought because it's sort of the international break, we need something a little bit more. We've got a little bit to talk about football-wise, but we've got not loads to talk about football-wise. So we came up with an idea. I can't remember whose idea it was now. Was it yours, Paul?
Well,
yeah, there you go. It was Paul's idea that we'll come up with managers that have managed Hull City and put them into some sort of order of managers that we like. I haven't really gone for any dislikes as such, but I've got them in a sort of order of managers that I like. And what I've done, and whether I've got the brief right, because I always get the brief wrong, is I've gone for 11 managers. Is that all right?
Well, they're not playing, are they?
No. So I've just got 11 managers. Is that all right with you, Paul?
it's all right with me, yeah.
Good. And
Yeah,
I don't know what order do we want to do this in? Because obviously, you know, I've got one at the top that I've classed as like my favourite manager. Shall we do that last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. How many of you are you done 11 as well, Jan?
No, have I yet? So I've been through every manager since I started watching City in the mid-1960s. So I started off with Cliff Britton. Your dad will remember him. You were probably a twinkle in your dad's eye at that point.
I wasn't even that.
Not even a twinkle in my eye at that point.
So I mean, you say you're gonna rate your managers of what you like and things like that, Jan?
Well, what I've done, because I do think, I mean, I've looked at the stats, but you know, we all know what stats can tell you can tell just as many lies. But what I do think is interesting, I've looked at the win percentage, but it's also significant to look at how many games they managed for, because you know, you could have a really good record, but actually you only managed for 10 games. Conversely, there's one of them that did only manage for 10 games and only had a 10% success rate. But you would if you only won one game, wouldn't you? So I've kind of highlighted the ones that have done quite a lot of games as well. Does that make sense?
Well, I've done something similar, to be fair. I've sort of, well, my lowest one's done 78 games. I've tried to stick it over 100, but, you know, if I get rid of the ones under 100, I ain't got 11.
Yeah, but if you get rid of the ones under 100, you don't get all the dodgy ones, do you? Like Tim Walter and Jan Molby and Mark Aitley.
Yeah, but if
you've mentioned three, Jan, that definitely are in my 11. So that's And I have noticed on this that, you know, you could have gone for somebody like Billy Russell, who managed from October 2002 to October 2002.
Yeah,
he managed one game. He won one game and he got 100% success rate. Well done to Billy Russell.
He did
Give him a round of applause. He did
more games than that. He did more games than that.
He did two in April 2000, and he lost both of those ones, so his win rate was 0. So Billy's got 100%, and then he's got 0%, and then he's got one where he managed 7 games, and it was 14.29% win rate. So that's
putting it into context, Adey, as well, you've also got to think if some of them were in like an interim role, they weren't going to be bringing their own players in, or it's not as straightforward as you first think it is it?
No, I don't think it is as straightforward. I don't know whether we'll all well, we probably won't all have the same answer as who's the favourite. I've got a feeling I know Jan's, but I'm not going to say that yet. I'll wait to see.
I'm not saying Liam Senior before you.
Oh, that's what I thought you had said as well. I
do love him, but I'm not saying him as my favourite. No.
There we go then. Well, I know my favourite is, and I'm not going to tell you until later on in the show because it'd be wrong.
The one I don't like, isn't it?
No, it's not the one you don't like. No, I've not gone for the one you don't like. Well, he's in there, but he's not my top manager. No. SB. That's all we're going to say. SB at this moment. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I know that is.
Okay, well, you'll find out later on in the show. Anyway, so listen, let me tell you who I've gone for 11, and I'm going to tell you then who I've got at number 11, because I ain't been watching it as long as you, Jan. I ain't been watching it as long as you, Dad, either. So, I've not got as many to choose from that you have. So, at number 11, as much as he really upset me, he did a really good job for us. He brought in some really good players for us. Nigel Pearson is who I've gone for as my 11th manager. He managed us from June 2010 to November 2011. He brought in some good players, 64 games, won 23 of those 64 games. And I think, he did bring in some good players and he did really well for us. 35% win rate. So Nigel Pearson's on my list. What are you thinking to that, Jan?
I'm thinking rude man, ignorant man, sorted the defence out there, didn't he? Boring 1-0,
yes.
But I'd have taken that to the end of the season. What upset me was that very last game when he said he wasn't going anywhere. Then he was pictured, wasn't he, in the car park at, was it Leicester or wherever he went?
Yeah, Leicester it went to.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't knock it. But he only did 60-odd games. But not a nice person, I don't think.
I think, listen, I met him. I met him when he first came in the June. And he did like an open training session. And on that day was absolutely lovely. Me and my daughter both got our photo taken with him. Mm-hmm. He was a really nice guy to talk to. It just upset me that he took the Leicester job because I think he was starting to build something at Hull City. Agree. And I think he could have gone on to to have been a bit of a legend. And obviously it got handed over to Nick Barmby, who had a better win rate than Nigel Pearson, to be quite honest with you. But I think Nick was, sold down the river, to be quite honest with you. And I think that was the problem there. And Nick, I don't actually think wanted the job. He's sort of gone on to say that he didn't want the job. And he did it as a sort of favour to Adam Pearson because he was friends with him. But yeah, Nigel Pearson. What do you think to Nigel Pearson, Paul?
Well, I don't think he's very good in front of the camera, is he? A lot. He's not the happiest sort of person. He doesn't come across the happiest sort of person, does he?
No.
And obviously he took the job, but I don't know if his heart was 100% in the job at Hull City. Because you see,
hard to say that. It's a good point.
He wasn't doing that badly, and yet he jumped ship, didn't he? And I don't know if he wanted to be here. He never seemed that happy. And I think, as a manager, you want a bit of happiness, don't you, in your face, and as though things are going well, even if things are going badly. He just didn't seem the right sort of manager for Hull City. I don't think there was ever going to be a long-term place for him there. He didn't do badly while he was here, I agree, and as you say, brought in some reasonable players, but, he won't be in my top 11 necessarily.
Okay, well, let's go to you then, Jan, and you can name one now, Jan, that you want to name.
Colin Appleton.
Yeah, Colin Appleton's a good choice. He is a good
52%,
choice.
91 games. Took us that last game at Burnley away. At the end of the season, we were that close to what was the first division. Probably he's got the best win rate of any of them.
Yeah, you could say that definitely. He's got a really good win rate.
Painted the changing rooms of Bulfrey Park, didn't he? He brought his own paint and did all. He was part of the Don Robinson sort of circus, wasn't he? But different times, different game, but he did a cracking job, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember him massively. I remember him a little bit because obviously I was about 9 a 10 when he came in. So I don't remember him really well, but I do remember him vaguely. So yeah, I can. It's a good choice, a really good choice. Paul, let's come to you now.
I've done a 1 to 11, so I'm just going to pick one out at random, to be quite honest.
You pick one out at random.
And I'm going to start. Well, all right, then at Hull City. I'm going to say Warren Joyce. He took on at a hard time. 86 games, and his win rate was 38% at a time when obviously the club wasn't in its best state. So to get nearly a 40% win rate, and 86 games, it's quite a lot in charge. And obviously, he was a good manager at the time, and I think he deserves to be up there with the other, the other managers who obviously taking us higher. But he was dealing with very tricky situations at the time. And to come along and do that well, I think it's all credit to him, to be quite honest. And, all the plaudits should go his way. It was a bad time for Hull City. And to get that win rate, 40%, I think it's a good win rate over nearly 90 games. Like, you'd take that every day of the week.
And it was the great escape, wasn't it? And morale must have been at its lowest. And to have to lift a team and to get them out. Yeah, I won't argue with that at all, Paul.
Warren Joyce is in at number 5 on my list.
I haven't put him in.
He could be higher, but
I
think I haven't really got a list. He's on my list, top 10 or 11.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
He's definitely in there.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is that you're right in what you said. It was a really tough time that it was in. He came in, he managed to keep us in the division, which was a miracle in itself, really. In the
football league.
Yeah, in the Football League. Yeah, keep us in the Football League. Made sure we didn't get into the conference. And I just think he did a really good job with us. I think he's obviously done a lot at Man United, hasn't he? But to not actually be, I don't think he's been a first team manager again after he went from us. I might be mistaken.
I don't think so.
And somebody could tell me differently, but he's been involved at Man United after that, and he was a good manager. So I think he could have gone on to do bigger and better things, to be quite honest with you. So Warren Joyce is on my list as well, and I think it's a good call. So back to me again. And I'm going to put in there, might be a little bit of a curveball, this one. You've been talking about people that have done lots of games and things like that. This manager hasn't done a lot of games, but he's come in this season and he's changed the team for me. And he's doing really well for us. He's got nominated for the Manager of the Month. Didn't get it, thankfully, which I didn't want him to get it. But I think Sergei Yakirovic has got to be, I think he could go on to be one of the greats of Hull City if he continues in the vein that he's in. And I really like him as a manager. I really like the way that he comes across in his press conference. And I think he's brought players on really well this season. And at the moment, he's got a 43% win rate for Hull City, which is really good, to be quite honest with you. So I've put him in there just because, as I say, there's a lot in there that I didn't want to choose in the time that I've been watching, just because some of them, Ian Dowie, Shota Avaladze, Tim Volta, Ruben Sayers. I didn't want to choose any of them, so I thought, what can I do instead? And I thought Sergei was a good one to choose. So that's my choice for putting him in. Dad, you can have your say on Sergei.
He's a good manager. I think the things that goes against him, he's only had a few games in charge, hasn't he? I mean, he's done really well. I think he's great as a manager at the moment. Everything seems to be happy in the camp, which is great. As you say, he's good with the media. He's honest. I really like him, and he could become a really top-class manager, Now worry more about him leaving than any of the players, to be quite honest, because you can change a player, maybe get somebody in, but changing a manager has a so bigger effect on the team that I don't want to lose him. So I can see why he's in there. I won't put him in personally at the moment because he hasn't done enough games for me. And if he had a run of 6 games when we lost 5 and drew 1, all of a sudden, he might not be top of the list. So I think he's up to have a few more games. But I agree with what you say. He's a very good manager and he's doing really well for Hull City at a time, again, when we look in the doldrums, a bit like the Warren Joyce time. Not as bad as that, but we had no money to spend. And he's certainly turned the team around, and it's entertaining football, which we haven't had for a number of years. So all credit to the lad. I hope he could be number 1 by this time next year or the year after if he continues. So he's a good call. But as I say, I won't put him in because of his lack of games. That's the only thing.
Jan, you're in agreement with Paul?
Yeah, I am in agreement with Paul. I have got him down there. He has got a good win percentage rate, but it's too early for me. What I do like, other than what he's done on the pitch, he's obviously got really good man management, interpersonal skills, hasn't he? Yeah. He's good with the media. He's good with the fans, and I don't think he'd be a pushover for the chairman either. I think it's he'd stand his ground with the chairman, which I think is probably necessary. So he has the potential to go on to be great and be a legend, doesn't he? Yeah, not a problem with that one.
Yeah.
Come to your next one then, Jan.
Well, my next one then, Gordon, I've got to have him, Brian Horton. I absolutely love the guy. He's the only one, much as I love Liam and all of that, the first time Don Robinson sacked him, I wrote to him and he wrote back to me. And I just think he gets it. He 195 games and a 40% win rate in the times that we had and the kind of squads that we had. We didn't have big money players in those days. And he brought in some, I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm sure his days was like the Jobber, Jobson and Gary Parker and all of that lot. And so Brian Horton's got to be right up there for me.
I agree with you, Jan, and he's on my list.
He's definitely definitely a man.
I'll say, Brian, for me, I was debating where to put him, and he's got a second on my list.
Because I haven't ranked him. I've just picked ones that I liked.
I remember, it was my early times of watching Hull City at Boothry Park, and I remember Brian had brought the players onto Francis Askew School Field, and I used to go on there all the time. I was always on Francis Askew Field, and he let us and a few of my friends make a wall, and the players was chipping the ball over us and getting it over the wall and stuff like that. So he was involved, in a little bit of training with the players one summer in pre-season training when he'd got the team on Francis Askew playing fields. And I think what a good guy he's been on when we was doing Tiger Pop on Humble Wave Radio. Came on there. He came on. I just messaged him. He came on, no problem at all. They tell me he was going to the MCAN Stadium. Went down there with my book. He signed my book for me. Really good guy, Brian Horton, and you don't get many like that in the game anymore.
Absolutely, you don't. No.
Well, his record speaks for itself overall, doesn't it? Yeah. It's not just at Hull City.
No.
As a player and as a manager, he's well respected. He didn't do anything wrong really at Hull City. I don't think. He's lost a few games, but you're not going to win every game, eh? He's an
40% win rate. It's a good win rate.
The kids, we had nothing to play for.
You can't fault him. You could have him easily at number 2. I won't argue. In fact, you probably could have him at number 1. He hasn't done a lot wrong in his actual career at all. He's been a really good footballer and a really good manager. And you can't fault him. Obviously, that thing the other night, once he's there as well.
Yeah.
It's just you can see why he's got to be up there as one of the best Hull City managers. And there's
Everybody
no danger.
likes him, don't they? They all respect him. Yeah.
They do. Your next one, then, Paul.
Well, it might be a bit of a curveball, this one, but I think it was a bit much maligned, to be quite honest, at the time. Grant McCann.
No, I've got him on my list.
Grant McCann's on my list as well.
It's on mine.
Win rate, 130 odd games. And the season went down, all right, they all put it down to his poor management and all that, but they lost our 2 best players at a time when we was about 7th in the league. Had we kept them 2, who knows what would have happened. We certainly wouldn't have gone down because we had a massive goal threat. When they went, the goal threat went with them. And I think there was much Milan. And he brought us straight back up.
Yeah,
and it's easy to get out of League One.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an hard league to get out of once you get in there. I mean, Leeds found that out. Other clubs have found that out how hard it is. And he brought us straight back up. And he was doing quite well, to be fair, when our manager took over. Our loan took over. He was doing quite well. And I felt a bit sorry for him getting the sack. And he's gone to other places like Peterborough and Doncaster. And I don't think he's done too badly at either of those. He's maybe not a Premiership manager, I don't know, but I think he did all right at the time he was here, and I think he's been much maligned by the time when we went down, we couldn't win a game for the last 20. I think he lost the players a little bit in the sense that we lost our two main goal threats. And I mean, Bowen has gone on to play. Well, I think he scored tonight for England, even, didn't he? I think he did.
I don't, did he?
Harry Kane had
think
scored
he- I
last time I watched, but I don't
Yes,
know.
Kane scored
But anyway, he
both,
played
didn't
for England tonight, so it just proves what a good player he was.
he? Yeah. Yeah.
And with our goal threat complete, the teams was frightened to death of our front forwards and the wingers, and we didn't have that. And obviously, you lose a couple of games, and obviously, your confidence goes a bit. And I think that's what happened. But he brought us straight up again. So, I think he's got to be up there in the top, 10 or 11 managers.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
I've got him at 8th on my list as well, and I agree with everything you've said, Paul. I think that the thing with it is that you could see that at that time there wasn't a lot of money getting spent by the club. There was bringing players through from the academy, and when he brought us back up, you could see the togetherness in the team that he'd managed to instill into him. It's the year where COVID had a big thing because you couldn't get crowds into the stadium, but he still managed to keep that team together.
And he brought in 50 grand. He brought in Regan Slater.
He did bring in 50 grand Regan Slater, and yeah, as I say, Grant McCann for me, I think was quite underrated by Hull City. I think that bringing Shota Arveladze in when they brought him in was the wrong time. If they was going to bring him in, it should have been the summer, because Grant McCann had already done really well in that season.
Yeah.
And, with not a lot behind him. So, Grant McCann for me, definitely in there. And I think, he's done well. You said he's on your list as well, Jan?
He was on my list as well, yeah. But my next one, Peter Taylor.
Peter Taylor is a very good call. He's on my list. He's on my list.
I'll tell you what, this is getting worrying, Adey, because we keep agreeing. I think if you talk to Peter and you listen to him at the first 20 years, 100 years on event, whatever we did,
yes,
he wished he'd never gone. He wished he'd never gone when he left us, and he said his wife's never forgiven him for giving up that house in North Ferriby. But yeah, another one. It took us to another level, just different class altogether.
There was sometimes he frustrated me slightly, did Peter, with his playing. I sometimes got a little bit frustrated. I got frustrated at times, and they always have this, don't the managers? And he used to pick Junior Lewis, and I think, why are you picking Junior Lewis? He used to really, really great on me, but he did absolutely brilliant for the club. As you say, took us to another level. He got us 2 promotions from league.
An England game to the end. Well, it was the KC then, wasn't it? We had the England under 21s, didn't we, at the KC as well? Yeah,
we did. Yeah, he took us from League 2 right through to the Championship, and did really well with us. And we watched some good football. We watched good wins, and he's got a 41.84% win rate.
Yeah.
And that's after
184 games.
184 games. So done really well for the club as Peter Taylor. And Peter Taylor's 4th on the list.
Yeah, couldn't argue with that.
I know they didn't need necessarily ranking, but that's just the way that I've done it. Is
fair enough.
Is to put them in a position, and whether it's the right way or the wrong way, that's how it is. Is it your go, Paul?
It's
me. Okay, so this one might not, and because you've gone on different things to me, sometimes I fall foul of these things, and I fall foul a bit tonight. But I ain't worried about it, because these managers might not get mentioned if I don't fall foul of things. So I've put in there, although he only managed us for 22 games, Marco Silva.
I liked him. He's the one,
He's obviously been a good manager, hasn't he? He's gone on to bigger things.
We wouldn't have gone down if we'd had him at the beginning of that season.
We definitely wouldn't. We would have stayed up if we'd have had Marco at the beginning of that season. And he did get a bit of money spent in the January, but the players that he brought in was very good players. How he managed to get some of them players to come to Hull City in the January, I don't know. But yeah, I liked Marco. I think you're right in what you say, Jan. If we'd have had him from the beginning, we'd have definitely stayed in the league. And I think if he would have stayed in the league, he would have stayed with us, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And, it was, there was no no thing he made of it. The Allams wanted to keep him and they wanted him to stay with us. So it's a shame that he didn't stay with us. But I think, you know, in the time that he came to Hull City, did a really good job for us. And I enjoyed watching some of the football under him. He was a very, well, he still is a very clever manager. And, you know, he's managing Fulham at the moment. He's doing a good job with them. And, you know,
Huddleston said he's the best coach he has ever worked under.
yeah. And you know, Tom's worked under some really big coaches. So, you know, for him to say that is huge, really. So, yeah, a little bit of a little bit of left field, maybe.
No, I like him.
But
I agree with you.
I liked him and I thought he did really well.
He did do really well. He's gone on to do well. Don't think he did so well as at Everton. He went to after us, or he went to. I know he was at Everton at one stage. He didn't do too well there, but he's done well at Fulham. They aren't doing too well this season, but it's still early on in the season. He could easily turn it around, and you know he plays decent football. Yeah, I can see why you've put him in there. You know,
I heard
he's a bit like Yakovovic. Yakov is a bit like our new manager. Sergey, a bit like Sergey. He hadn't done enough games for me to sort of for Hull City.
I mean, I was told, and quite reliably, that he was there ready to come in. They wanted him at the beginning of the season. But if you remember, Mike Phelan was doing a pretty good job. And the one time that Ehab listened to the fans is probably the time he shouldn't have done. And he shouldn't have done what they were going to do, yeah. But, you know, but I agree. Yeah. You know, he was obviously a cut above, wasn't he?
Well, Mike Phelan, you know, you talk about him. He's not on my list. He had it as a caretaker job, didn't he? And he's 44%, and then he got took on as the manager, and then he drops down to 13%.
Yeah, that was the fan pressure. Yeah.
So you know, no, he's not on my list, but you know, they should have kept him as a caretaker because he was doing far better as a caretaker manager than he was as a manager. On to you then, Paul.
Well, I've gone for one that you won't know, obviously, Jan will. Cliff Britton.
Oh, that was my next
401 games.
Yeah.
401 games, 42%, more or less. I rounded it up. 42% win rate. And at the time, I think we had a brilliant team. You know, and I think he was manager for about 8 or 9 years. So, it's, you know, it was, and it's going to watch him. It was like going to watch him a bit now. You know, plenty of goals. All right, there was a few going in our end, but, you know, plenty of goals going. And the atmosphere was brilliant at Belfry Park. You know, Wagstaff and Chiltern, I still think they're the best double act we've had up front. Obviously, Ken Houghton and Ian Butler and, you know, Chris Simpkin and people like that. But the best, you know, Wagstaff and Chiltern, I'm sure a lot of defenders didn't want to play against either of them. So I still think Wagstaff was good enough to get in the England team, to be quite honest. If he's outside life, I think would have been a bit different. I think he would have done, but you know, it obviously had something about him to have that win rate over that many games. Yeah. You can't, you know, rule him out. To be honest, you know, and at the time will have been up and down. You know, would have had a lot of money with the team. You know, out like that. He wasn't as though they had big bucks.
It was the needless days, wasn't it? Yeah.
But it was a different era. But he's got to be in there after 400 and odd games. There's nobody. Well, one near him, is there? Yeah, just one who's got somewhere, but his percentage isn't as good. So I had to put him in. And I know it's before your time, Adey, but
no, listen, it's good to have you and Jan to go back in time a bit longer than me. Because, you know, obviously you can come up with some ones that I didn't see. I mean, I did notice that you've not got Jack Hill in there, or maybe Frank Buckley, you know, Rage Carter, you know, but there you go.
I have actually got Rage Carter down. 157 games, 47% win rate.
Yes.
Well, the best players in England ever. And he managed us as well. 157 games, it's more than a lot of them have done.
It is.
Phil Brown was probably going to be high up there. He only did the same amount of games, 33% win rate. Yeah. So
there you go. Let's go on to let's you talk about Cliff Britton then, Jan, because you know.
Well, I would. You've said it all. You know, I mean, in those days, you didn't sack your managers like they do nowadays, do they? So the money, it was the days where the local businesses owned the clubs and all of that. So it was the Needlers in those days, wasn't it, Paul? I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was the Needlers, yeah.
Right, so my next one then, Brian Little.
Do you know what? That's a really
Yeah.
good call, and I should have looked at Brian Little because Brian Little did
He's
well
on my
for us.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I missed Brian Little, and I should have put him in there. He's a really good call,
97
Dan.
games, 42% win rate. Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
I know I can't think, but I think I'm right. I mean, I can't be sure, sorry, but I think I'm right. But I'm sure we used to say, what on earth does he say to him at half time? I don't know if I'm right, Paul, you might remember. But he'd come out and they were a different team in the second half. But yeah, I mean, he was
Reggae Boys, I think, signed under Brian Little, didn't they?
Oh, did they? So Whitmore and
yeah, I'm
Goodison.
sure it was Goodison and Whitmore
Yeah.
signed
Oh,
under Brian Little. Yeah, no, he's a
Some
really
brilliant
good call.
players.
He should have been on my list. He should have been on my list.
Yeah,
I've not
so
got him on the list.
Sorry,
Brian.
I'm starting to run out of ones now because I am having the one that you're gonna have a go at. But yeah. But yeah, he's and I think he was the first one that I thought we're getting a big name. You know, he's you had ahead of him kind of thing. You know. And,
no, you're right. You're right. It
a
is
little old city. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I
He did really well up nearly 100 games, 42% win rate. You can't knock it, can you?
No, not at all.
Do you want me to mention this? Well, Jan won't.
You can mention it.
No. It's not that one next, Jan. It's another one that you've got on your list, and it will be on there. And he got number 7 on my list. He might have got higher up if somebody else had done this list. But Liam Rossini is my next one. And I'm sure we can all agree that Liam did a great job for Hull City. He did a great job playing for Hull City as well as managing Hull City. Sometimes I didn't like his style of football. He frustrated me at times, but he did really well for us. His man management was really good, and you could see that all the boys was really happy playing under Liam Rossini. 35% win rate, really. So did quite well with us. 78 games he managed the club for. And if he hadn't been let go, I think he'd have probably still been here now, to be honest, if the owner hadn't have decided that he didn't want him to be here anymore. So, Liam Rossini is my next one. And his nan was from Hull. So, why not?
I don't think he had long enough. I think he made mistakes. But I think if you watch the team that he's managing now in France, they don't play like he did here. That's what mistakes are for learning from, aren't they? So
yes.
In that respect, I don't think he would be the same person. But I also think he had all those skills that you just said with the players, but I think he had pull as well. And you'll not hear anybody outside of Hull say a bad word against him and about what he knows about football. And I just think it was, and I'm still not having that squad. We were without Delap, we were without Philogene. I mean, injuries and it wasn't the most expensive squad. We went to Sunderland and played with Coyley in central defence because we were short and managed to scrape a 1-0 win. I just don't think the lad had time, but it's sad.
It is a sad one.
Yeah,
we move on.
I think one of the troubles was, I think once the was doing so well, I think at the beginning of the season, they was probably quite happy with maybe mid-table, 15th, 10th, or something like that. I think when they got up there and was sort of like in the around the top 6 most of the season, I think they wanted promotion. I know they said it was his football, which at times, like Adey, I found a bit negative, possibly because of the team he had out. I don't know, but I found a bit negative, a bit pass. But I think at the time, that was the way to play football, and he followed that way. But I think the thing that let him down was not getting promotion, because I don't think they wanted necessarily was looking at promotion. But I think when you're in the top 6 all that time and you miss out, and the games like Stoke, I don't think we had a shot on target and we lost 2-0. And the game against Birmingham, when 1-0 up, probably should have gone and got a second or a third. They score a late equaliser. And I think games like that didn't help him. He did do a good job. He galvanised the team together, because obviously when he came in, we was floundering near the bottom, if not at the bottom possibly at the time. He did really well, and he kicked on the next season. I think it was probably the fact that he did so well early on went against him late on in the season. That's my thoughts. I don't think it was necessarily the football, even though, as I say, I don't think it was the best football at times. I think the fact that we didn't get promotion, and I know it wasn't always fault. Delap was out, as you say. Philogene was out. we missed chances here and there, which they all do. And, but there was a couple of poor games at home. I think the Stoke game, as I say, and the Birmingham game come to mind
The one that for
instantly when we
me,
should have done that. And I think I felt a bit sorry for him, but football's like that. It's
it is,
they're
yeah.
not very nice to managers sometimes.
Away at Watford, Tufan misses the penalty. That one, Adama Traore against Leeds.
Yeah.
Me and you could have put that in the net, Adey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got there, Jan, but if I'd have got there,
I mean, we don't know, do we? But I also think he wouldn't have anybody telling him who he had to play. And actually, I don't think Sergio, with a bit of luck.
No, I don't think so. And I think you're right. That's probably some of it is down to that.
But I'm happy that he's in there. But no, I wouldn't put him at the top. But I still really like the guy.
He was a good manager at the time for Hull City. I mean, he kept us up, didn't he? He did the right thing, strengthened the defence, made us hard to play against, kept us in the division, kicked on the season after. And as I say, I think the fact that he did so well in that period went against him later on when we should have got in the top 6, to be fair. We didn't.
Did we? And for us, we go to all the away games, so that kind of counted it for us. But I guess if you're one of these people that, for whatever reason, can only get to home games, then you would have been, down about it. But, the away games were great for us that season. So
yeah, they did really well away from home. It was just at home, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, back to you then, Jan. Let's get on to yours.
You've done that, and it's back to
All
Paul.
Right, Paul, then. Back to you then, Paul.
I'm running out of ones that I like now.
Struggling now.
You not got any left?
Well, I've got 1 or 2 left, yeah, but
Come on then, give us one.
Well, I'm going to, obviously, Phil Brown's got to be there. His percentage win rate isn't brilliant, but, we got promotion to the Premiership under him, so he's got to be up there, hasn't he? I mean, he's a character, is Phil Brown. I won't say, he did really well at the club. I mean, his singing at the end of the game against Manchester United still grates on me a little bit, because that was one of the worst games I've ever seen Hull City play, when we needed to. I know we stayed up, but we guaranteed to stay up if we win. And we was playing Man United's second 11, and we looked awful. Didn't hardly create a chance. And he comes on the pitch because we'd got a result at Newcastle against Villa, coming on and singing as though he's done us a big favour. And it embarrassed me. Put me off him a little bit, to be quite honest, because I thought, it should have been like that in a game when we've played so poorly. But he obviously did well with the team. He had some good players there. Obviously got Dean Winders there and Fraser Campbell, and I think they had a good team spirit under him. The team itself was pretty happy with each other, and the defence was immense, wasn't it, that season? I mean, in the final, I've watched the final about 3 times, and I think Bristol City could have won about 10-1, to be fair, the chances they had. But they never scored. Really good defending and good goalkeeping. So he's got to be up there, because he took us into the Premiership, didn't he? But I'd say that singing against when we played Man United just put me off him a little bit.
And
Jan, you were saying?
Well, that night that we did, I don't know, but Night with the Legends. So it was with Dawes and Nick, and there was somebody else. It might have been Ash. I can't remember. It's been this recently. But they reckon that actually he did a better job than the one I don't particularly like, given the quality of the squad that Phil Brown had that took us up, as opposed to the quality of the squad that the other fella had. So, I think we have got to accept that, times are different. And I mean, that's
I might come back to Phil Brown, if that's all right with you.
Yeah. I mean, I do think he's a bit of a lad, or he has been a bit, he's a bit of a one.
He obviously did well at Hull City, as you can't deny the fella that he did really well at Hull City. As you say, with probably not a Premiership squad, to be fair. But
next one together. I'm going to get my next one up when you're ready, and I'll talk.
So you do yours, because I've run out of ones that I really liked.
So my next one on my list, and in 6th position, is Nigel Adkins.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, didn't have a great though, did he?
Well, 33%. It was at a time where we weren't spending any money, and he come in after Leonard Slutsky. And obviously, you know, I mean, Leonard was. I liked Leonard. I thought it was a really good character, but unfortunately, he didn't do very well for us. So somebody needed to come in and steady the ship. And Nigel got the job of coming in and steadying the ship. And I think he actually did come in and steady the ship quite well. 33% win rate, managed 78 games for Hull City. But I think he did things with a team that was, you know, wasn't the best team at the time. We didn't have a lot of cash to spend. And I think he sort of galvanised that squad. His interviews, he never told you anything.
It was like listening
but actually spoke for ages, but never told you a thing. But when you actually went to see him, and we did go to a fans forum with him, and you had a chat with him, you know, sort of in private, out the way and stuff like that. And he would tell you a few things when he was doing that. He just didn't want to tell the media everything that was going on. But he was a really nice guy. I really like Nigel Adkins, and I think, you know, obviously he did a really good job across the water at Scunthorpe United. Did really well with them. But I think he came here and I think he did a good job with us, did Nigel Adkins. Yeah. So in my time of watching him, I think he's done a good job. So 6th on my list, it's Nigel Adkins. Your next thing, Jan.
Well, I have thought of another one then, the Terry Neal.
Terry Neal is a good choice. Done well for Hull.
He had a 35% win rate, wasn't he?
He did 174 games for Hull.
Yeah, so it's a decent number of games. So
it is.
I mean, and he got us close, didn't he? So, and he played at the same time.
Yeah.
So I am genuinely running out of ones that would really jump out at me now. I can give you some at the other end because you said your best and your worst, but we're bound to discuss the one that I don't like. But yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss the one that you don't like shortly. Paul, let's come to you and then get another one.
Well, I am struggling a little bit. I've got him on my list, and that his win rate isn't brilliant, but he was here a long time, 6 years, and he did do 322 matches. So I suppose his win rate is going to be hard to be high. I mean, it's not going to be high as Cliff Britton, but
Terry Dolan.
Terry Dolan.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you know what? I debated Terry Dolan as well, Paul, so I can understand why you've put him on there because, again, I think he was at the club at a time where we were struggling. It was the time where we sold Dean Winders to Aberdeen, wanted
Dolan out, Fish out and all of that.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously, you know, we didn't have much money at the time. We owed the taxman money on a regular basis, and Dean Winders go to Aberdeen, gets us 600 grand, and it manages to pay the taxman off. So, go on, Paul, carry on.
Well, he won 100 games under him, you know, so, you know, they haven't done that badly. And as you say, that time for Hull City, it wasn't the best, was it? You know, it wasn't, you know, what sort of Premiership times was it? You know, so I think,
and do you know what? He's a really nice guy as well. We had him at the official supporters club in Cottingham, and he's a referee's assessor. And we had him down to talk about the referees and what he did at half time and stuff like that. Really nice guy he was. You know, I had time for absolutely everybody when he came. Really nice guy.
I mean, sometimes it's about the players you've got and how the club is at the time, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it's not always plain sailing, you know, and some of these managers who've not done so well or, you know, haven't really had maybe always the goods in front of them to do well or the chance to do well. And, you know, sometimes the bounce of the ball on a match can cause, you know, your goal and you've lost the game. You haven't maybe played badly, but you've lost the game. And I don't know. He must have done something right to have 322 games under him. Whether he was a cheap manager, I don't know, because we didn't have a lot of money, but he stuck it out for a long while. So I think, he probably deserves to be.
People that were shouting "fish out, Dolan out" might have regretted that after they got Mark Haitley in after him, eh?
Oh yeah, well, if you're going to them ones, he's on my list alongside Tilly Boy, Jan Mulvey, Ian Dowie.
Yeah, they're all ones that wouldn't make my top 11.
With Stan Ternant, and I went right off him when he said the best thing to come out of Hull is the M62. He was an obnoxious bloke as well. I don't think he had too bad a win rate.
30% win rate is what Stan Ternant had, so not the best. He only managed 62 game for Hull City. I'll tell you my next one on the list because Jan's been waiting for this one all night.
You better not have given him number 1 spot.
I haven't given him number 1 spot. I've given him number 3 in my thing. Brian Horton was my number 2. Steve Bruce makes number 3 because 201 games for Hull City, 41% win rate. Managed us from June 2012 till July 2016. It took us to an FA Cup final, took us back up to the Premier League. Steve Bruce
got us relegated.
He did get us relegated, but you've got to look at different things with Steve Bruce, and he did probably give us the best time we've had and seen as Hull City fans. So did that ownership then. We've only been in one FA Cup final, and Steve Bruce took us to that FA Cup final. So for me, he has to be up there. And he didn't get me number 1. So I'm sure he would have got some people's number 1 spot, but he didn't get mine.
Absolutely, I absolutely know I'm in the minority.
Yeah, listen, it's not. I understand where you're coming from, Jan, and I can get that he was hard to talk to at times. If you was a fan and you tried to talk to him, sometimes it was difficult to talk to him. He could be a little bit standoffish with you and not have time for you, like some of the other managers have had a lot of time for us and stuff like that. So I get that, but watching Hull City go to an FA Cup final, going to Wembley, he took us to Wembley 3 times. Did he take us there while he was managing us? Yeah. I think he did, didn't he? 3 times to Wembley. As a Hull City fan, I never imagined I'd be doing that. So, he's got to be in there for me.
He's definitely got to be there.
I wouldn't deny that he should be there. And if you'd asked me in 2014, 2015, I would have absolutely wholly agreed with you. But when we got promoted and then we got relegated, that, I get that, when at the end of the day, it's no fun being in the Premier League if you're in that bottom little group, is it?
No.
So we got relegated, but we kept that squad together.
We did.
Squad should have walked that league. And we ended up having to beat Sheffield Wednesday in the playoff final again with that Murdy Army goal. And before that, they'd started to have on the phone-ins after the game. They'd started to be quite negative about it. And I just think, he didn't play Harry Maguire when he should have done. That annoyed me. I remember being at A&E waiting for somebody, and they were all having this debate that why wasn't he playing Harry Maguire when he was playing Alex and this, that, and the other. And I also think he, like you were saying, you listened to Nigel Adkins on in the media, and he was really nice and really friendly. I think he manipulated, this is my view, the situation with the discord with the owners to his benefit. And so everybody loved him and didn't like the owners, kind of thing. And I just kind of, it went sour for me. And then I think with the media, he can't, they seem to know things that they shouldn't have known. And I don't know, I might be absolutely wrong, but it just felt to me as though his loyalty wasn't where it should be. And then post us, he's not really had much success. I just wish the guy, I loved him as a Man U player because, I'm a closet red. And I just wish he would retire gracefully because he's done his bit and he's past it.
There you go. Your turn on Steve.
Got it off my chest.
No, he obviously did really well with us. As you say, got us to an FA Cup final, which, that when you're a young kid, that's your dream to go and see your team in an FA Cup. All right, yes. It's nice to win them 2-0 up after about 10 minutes and a chance of 3-0. You was hoping to win, and we had a chance late on, I think, to get an equaliser. Anyway, it wasn't to be, but to go to see an FA Cup final with your team in it is everybody's dream. So he's got to be up there as one of the top managers because of that. Obviously, got us in the Premiership. I can see where you're coming from. I always felt that last game when we scored the winner and everybody's, we're back in the Premiership and, it was a 50-50 game, I think. Just a good goal, 50-50 game.
We were all over and we had all the stats, but...
Yeah, but we didn't create too much. I don't think it was just one of them. But we won in the end, and he come out, and I've never seen anybody so miserable after
No.
winning a playoff game. And
Yeah.
it was a bit like the Phil Brown thing. He went over the top when we've played really poorly and lost the game. And Steve Bruce, he went the opposite way, and we'd won a vital game. All right, as you say, we probably should have got through without having to go in the playoffs, but we won the playoffs, and he come out as miserable as sin, and it put me off him a little. Obviously, he went then, but it put me off him, and I thought, why? Even if he wasn't going to stop with Hull City, you still come out with a smile on your face, happy, and we've done it. Yeah, you could tell at the time his heart wasn't there. And
You could.
it disappointed me a little bit, realistically. I mean, he did really well for Hull City. As I say, he's given us a lot of good days. Obviously, the owners have, and I think they're much maligned, to be fair. I think they just had bad PR. I think if they'd have had better PR, they might have still been
needed a front man, did the Alams to be able
that's
to.
my
The
opinion.
Alams alongside Adjum would be a dream, really, wouldn't it? The business
Probably
acumen,
so, yeah,
business
definitely.
acumen with his like PR stuff.
Yeah, because he's done quite a bit wrong as a John, but he seems to come out the other side always smelling of roses and seems to be all right. And he's probably done things as bad as the Alams have done, maybe worse than what the Alams have done. But Alams just didn't know how to manage the media properly, and he just knows exactly how to manage the media and the fan base, and he does it really, really well. We've not got a lot of time left on the show. My number one, by the way, just because Steve was number 3, Brian was number 2, my number 1 was Phil Brown. Phil Brown, I just remember, as a Hull City fan,
crying at Wembley. I did.
As a Hull City fan, I never thought we would get promoted to the Premier League. I never thought we'd ever see the Premier League. And for Phil to get us promoted to the Premier League, in that year, we was never destined to get promoted to the Premier League. We didn't have the best squad in the league or anything like that, but he just got a group of players, and he managed to manage all these personalities, because
like we are doing now, to be fair, very similar.
Very similar. And it just did a job with us. And I've met Phil a couple of times after he's managed Hull City. He did come to the Cottingham branch of the official supporters club. We had him down there. I don't know exactly how we managed to get it and organise it. I sponsored it when I had my shop, and I got sat next to Phil at the dinner table, and we had a really good chat at the dinner table. It was really good to talk to, had time for everybody, was really nice to everybody. I mean, he was at every social event in the city, was Phil Brown. It was a socialite for definite. He loved it. And ultimately, it's basically, for me, it was our top manager. So I'll let you discuss Phil Brown. I've just got to pop off for a minute, but just talk about him. We've got a couple of minutes left.
I absolutely get what he's saying, Paul, because with the squad that he had, and he took us to somewhere where we've never been before. I mean, I cried at Wembley.
Well, I thought he did really well. I mean, it's just that it just sort of upset me when you're coming out singing as though you've played really well. At the time, we needed to win, and we're playing. Man United had played half a youth team, I think, or a lot of the under 20. We didn't turn out with the top team. Scored a really good goal, but I don't think we had a shot hardly. And you think, come on. But
I think
as a manager, you can't knock him. And he's very good. He's a sort of celebrity, isn't he? As manager,
that's the extrovert in him. I mean, I think he's that kind of flamboyant. But I mean, it was him when we went to the Arsenal game and when we beat Arsenal at the Emirates 2-1. We were there then. That was under him as well. And that game at White Hart Lane, and because it was there then.
He's had some really good wins as a Hull City manager. I mean, we started the season really well when we got in the Premiership, and that kept us up because towards the end of the season we dipped right off. Which often happens to go up.
What about the one was that at Man City when Jimmy Bullard when we were on the pitch? That one there was that we were there then, and they were right in front of us as well. That was that Phil Brown. That was embarrassing as well, to be fair.
Yeah. But he did well at Hull City. He hasn't really. I don't think he's set the world alight anywhere else. I think he's the right place, the right time.
Yeah, it came on the back of his sort of. He'd been the number 2, to Sam Allardyce I think that's where kind of he got his expertise and that from. I guess we're going to talk about Saturday.
Right place at the right time, I think, wasn't he? You know, he's just obviously he had something about him. He was a character, and he
took us there for the first time, and that
it did take us there for the first time. Look, a quick word about Saturday. We'll just have a quick chat about this Saturday's game. What we're thinking.
Well, I hate going there. We're going, obviously. It's horrible ground.
Mike said you've got that. If you've got a blocked view there, you've definitely got a blocked view.
Oh no, yeah, it is. You know, you need to buy. You get silver or gold seats. You need to buy the gold seats, and they're So we're going there, but then we're also going to see Abba Voyage after it. So hopefully,
that'll be all right then.
Good weekend.
Yeah. So
I think it'll be a tough game. They're a bit in and out.
3-1 win.
I think QPR, aren't they?
They lost the last game.
Jan's saying 3-1 win. I think it's one of them, Paul, isn't it? There could be a couple of players back.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he'll put him straight into the team, to be quite honest. I think I don't think he'll change it much from the last match. I'd be very surprised, because you've got to be careful with these people coming back from injuries, that you don't rush them into it. And is it better to bring them on in the second half, give them 20 minutes, half an hour, or is it bring them on early and to pull up straight away, because it happens, doesn't it? So I don't think he'll make many changes from the last team. But Lumi might get on this time. I know he was on the bench for the last game, wasn't he? I don't think he'll start necessarily, but I think he may get on this time. But it'll depend on the match. I mean, it'll be a tough game. It always is at QPR. We got away with it a bit last year. I think we could have been 2 or 3 down. We ended up winning, didn't we? But hopefully we can get a win. I'd take a 3-1, but
I'd take a 1-1, to be honest. I'd take a 1-1. I'd be quite happy with a 1-1, and that'd be all right for me. We ain't got time to talk much more. We've got Ipswich away next Tuesday, and we'll be on home. Next Tuesday. We'll be back next Wednesday. And when we'll talk about the Ipswich Town game and how it's gone, and we'll also preview the game after, which is away at Stoke. I might get tickets for Stoke. I'm still debating that one, but I might go to Stoke and watch that game.
That's another horrible one. That's the 2 away ones I don't like.
Just got a message back after we've nearly finished the podcast from Brian Horton, who I did ask if he would come on and chat to us tonight. He said he's sorry, I'll message him too late, but he will definitely come on and have a chat with us on another episode. So we'll tee Brian up and we'll get him on another episode of Tiger Talk here on Dolan Back Podcast and Humble Wave Radio. That'll be a good one, won't it? I'll message Brian back and say thanks, Brian, and would love to have you on. Anyway, you've been listening to me, Adey, right? Good evening to you, Paul. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. Nice to have me.
Safe journey, Jan, for you to QPR.
Thank you very much, up the Tigers.
And we'll see you all again next Wednesday. All right, good night. I think I can press this button and it'll end us. There we go.